This video is brought to you by Skillshare. Hello everybody and welcome to a good old-fashioned book haul. I don't think I've done one of these this year, and if I have, it's only been one. I've recently moved, and what that meant was that I got to explore a bunch of new bookshops. I also have had some pretty cool events recently, like Book Expo America, which is now just called BookCon, or Book Expo, regardless. I've been to some cool things. I moved to a place with a bunch of new bookshops, and I got a bunch of new books. So I thought it would be really fun to show you. There's a smudge on my lens, and it's driving me crazy. So let's fix that. I have two piles of books here. The first is books that I bought myself, and the other is books that I was sent or acquired through means of me not spending my own money. So let's start with the books that I bought. This first book is called Emergency Contact. That's right, we're diving in now. That's the end of the intro. Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. I'm very excited about this because, actually, yeah, it kind of links to the other pile. We'll get back to it. You have to watch the whole video for it to all make sense. I think that's how you make a good video, right? You, have to keep people to watch until the end. But yeah, so I was with my friend Raylene running the Reading Rush, and we went and visited the bookstore that she works at, and so I was perusing the YA section, and they had Emergency Contact. I've heard loads of good things about it, but also, many years ago, I made a video talking about how I wish there was more use of technology and social media in books, especially YA books. Because if you're doing a realistic portrayal of the life of teens or young people, then it has to include technology like phones and laptops and Twitter and Instagram. And so this is, as far as I know, about a couple. I heard the Canadian about on that one, and I apologize. Yeah, sorry. This is about a couple who is falling in love, but mainly through text. So a large part of their relationship is through text messaging, and that's something that I relate to a lot. A lot of my, especially early relationships are through text, because it's so much easier to talk to someone like that. And, I imagine in the 80s and 90s, how, and beforehand, but you always have in movies these, clips of teenagers spending all of their time talking on the phone, and, they're always in their bedroom on their phone, and, Lizzie McGuire, oh my god, Lizzie McGuire, that's even early 2000s, right? They, spend all of their time when they're at home on the phone. Well, now we just text all of the time, so I'm interested to see how this goes. The next one is also YA, but I think that's all of the YA that I've bought myself. No One Here is Lonely by Sarah Everett. So I saw this cover at a bookshop here where I live now, called Mosaic Books. It's beautiful. It's in Kelowna. So this is called, this is No One Here is Lonely, and I was really brought in by the pixelated clouds. I just was really, intrigued by the cover. So I picked it up, and the beginning says, "Hi, I'm Will, but it's not Will, not really. Will's dead. This is just everything he left behind. His voice, his emails, his text. It's just a digital version." And I was very intrigued by that. I don't know. It's one of two things. It's either, someone is just looking at all of his profiles after he's died, or there's some weird digital version of this person once he's died, so we don't really die. Maybe our afterlife is a digital thing. So I don't know. Either way, I got intrigued. It was on massive sale. It was $6, and I found out that the author is Canadian, so I always love supporting Canadian authors. But I actually didn't pick this up the first time that I went into the shop, and then, weeks passed, and I was still thinking about it, so I went back into the shop to get it. Alright, the next book, never heard of it. It's called Next Year for Sure by Zoey Leigh Peterson. I think she's also Canadian, actually. Was born in England, grew up all over the United States, and now lives in Canada. She lives in Vancouver, which is near where I live. So this, again, I was just pulled in by the cover, and it was on sale. It was 50% off. So I was in the sale section. And, I read this, and it caused me so much stress and anxiety that I needed to know what would happen as the story continued. After 9 years together, Catherine and Chris have the sort of relationship most would envy. Skip a lot of the synopsis, but when Chris tells Catherine about his attraction to Emily, another person, Catherine encourages him to ask her out on a date, certain that her bond with Chris is strong enough to weather whatever may come. No. As Catherine and Chris stumble into polyamory, it tracks the tumultuous, revelatory, and often funny things that happen. So I was just like, that sounds so stressful. Like, I don't know if they're gonna stay together, or if it's gonna fall apart, or if polyamory is gonna work for them. I don't know. So I'm very intrigued. All right, this next book. It's getting a lot of... It's like one of those things. This is already a really huge book, but I think it maybe took not a dip, but just kind of like a calming. It was sleeping a little bit while, just while other books were being more exciting. But now there's a movie adaptation of this book, so it's blown up again, and it's The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. So I got this on sale for $11, and it sells for $22, so half off at like a used bookstore. When I went camping, and when I was going camping, I looked, what is the town nearest where I'm going camping, and what bookshops do they have? And they had a bunch, and so yeah, I stopped in. In another one of the bookshops that I went to, that reminds me of a book I forgot. Okay, I'll show you this. In another bookshop that I went to, the woman just gave me a postcard. The town is called Salmon Arm, by the way. Great little bookshops there. So I'm going to use that as my bookmark for this book that I got at a different one called Book Nook. Just giving you all of the bookstore recommendations for the Okanagan region. But yeah, Goldfinch, I barely know what this is about, but my friend Indy texted me one day out of nowhere and just in all caps said, Ariel, I am reading The Goldfinch and it is the best book I've ever read. And went on to send me a bunch of all caps texts telling me how in love with this book she was and that I needed to get it immediately. And so I'm just trusting her recommendation. And I'm excited. I don't read long books very often, so I am intimidated by it. But I've heard really great things. All right, next book. Things We Lost in the Fire, stories by Mariana Enriquez. So this is a collection of stories all set in contemporary Argentina. A bunch of bookmarks just fell out of it. And yeah, that's basically all I know. Short stories set in Argentina. I was very excited about it. I was going to say something, but what I'd rather say is I want to read more Latino texts, Latina texts, because, my mom is from Honduras, I am half Latina, and I think it would be really fun to read more than I already do, because I don't really read that much, so this will be really cool, and I've read one of her short stories before from this collection, and it was really good, so I'm game. Also, gorgeous cover. Next book, I didn't buy myself, but it was gifted to me from my boyfriend. And it is Glory by Vladamir Nabokov. So, obviously he wrote Lolita. We all know. And I love Lolita. I think it's a fantastic and very interesting book. But no one's read anything else by Nabokov. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I said, what else has he written? I don't think most of us would think of anything. I certainly couldn't name another book that he'd written. And so I think that this is a really cool present because my boyfriend obviously knew how much I loved Lolita and haven't read anything else by the author, which is such a thing, especially with classics, right? So you read, like, 1984 or Animal Farm, why bother reading? Like, there's so many books to read. You don't go through the backlog very often. So I think this is really cool. It's kind of a creepy image on the back. But I also love the cover of this. This, like, classic font with just a bright yellow. It's beautiful. I mean, what are we talking about? Okay. Then I bought myself a bunch of pink graphic novels. I didn't mean to. I just kept buying pink graphic novels. So the first one is Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by Mariko, Tamaki, and Rosemary Valero-O'Connell. I already read this. It was amazing. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Everyone should read it. It was so beautiful, both in illustration, and it's like has a pink palette, and in story. I loved it. I also hated Laura Dean so much. Like from the second page, I was like, I hate this girl. And I felt so much, like, passionate hate towards the character that I was just, like, applauding the two authors. Because I was like, wow, you guys did such a good job making me feel passion for this story. Loved it. Really think you should all pick it up. Then I got Something New by Lucy Knisley. This was on sale for, like, $2. I was so excited because I've read, what the heck is it called? How have I forgotten? An Age of License by her, and I loved that book. So I was really excited to read this. This is Tales from a Makeshift Bride. So it's like chronicling, she tells memoirs, she does graphic novel memoirs, and this is about her journey, like, getting married. And I'm pretty sure she never thought she would get married, or at least ever thought she would have, like, a big wedding or something. And I don't even know if it was a big wedding or not, but, like, yeah, it just chronicles that whole process. So that sounds really cool. Then, oh wow, I've read this one. I've read both of these. This is now just turning into a book review session. So, I got The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang. Jen Wang illustrated Cory Doctorow's In Real Life, another graphic novel that I adored, and I loved this. So this is like her graphic novel that she both illustrated and wrote, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's such a beautiful, moving story. And yeah, the illustrations are wonderful, and I really think that I look like the main character. You might disagree. Let me know in the comments if you think that I look like the main character in this story. Let me see if I can find, like, I'm just seeing all of the other characters for some reason. But yeah, I just really think that, especially when I hadn't dyed my hair blonde, and whenever I wear my hair in a braid, I think I look a lot like her. Let me know in the comments. And then the other one I got was Check Please by Ngozi Ukazu. So this is a book about, wait, I didn't even say what this one was about. It's about a prince who does drag, and he wants better dresses and, like, more fashionable, cool outfits, and he finds this seamstress, and so they start to work together to, like, make him these beautiful outfits. So it's awesome. And it takes place, you know, like, in medieval times. And then, medieval? No, it's not medieval times. Isn't it, like, turn of the century? Yeah, I think it's turn of the, kind of, like, the dawn of the modern age. It says it's the first line of the synopsis. So, yeah, this is about a guy who's going to college his first year, and he's very excited, very enthusiastic. He has a vlog, relatable, and he plays hockey. So he played hockey on his high school team. He came to play hockey in college, but he's a smaller guy. He's scared of being checked, which, if you don't know anything about hockey, I don't even watch hockey, but I think just being Canadian gives you just a base layer understanding. Like, you know the basic terms. So being checked just means kind of like hockey is like a contact sport, and you get shoved and stuff, and, like, hit. I don't know how to describe it because I don't watch hockey, but you get hit a lot, and it's kind of like this process of, like, hitting someone so that you can take the puck away from them. Not like punching. It's this very specific thing. Regardless, it's cute pun, check please, because he also loves to bake. But yeah, he's scared of being checked, and it's sort of about him, like, overcoming that fear, becoming friends with the rest of the team, and just chronicling his first year of college. And it's based on a web comic that the author and illustrator does online. And I didn't love this one just because it didn't feel like a cohesive graphic novel. I didn't feel like I really knew the characters and there was a really big arc. It felt more like a webcomic where I was like, okay, this would make a lot more sense if I was just getting, like, a little chapter episode every week or whatever. So I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. Okay, so those are all my pink graphic novels that I've collected, and those are all the books that I bought, and they all just fell over. So, now we will move on to the books that I have acquired through other means. Alright, here we go. Where shall I begin? Let's start with the books I got at Book Expo. I got 2. I feel like I got 3 for some reason, and I must have forgotten one. Which reminds me, I forgot to show you those books that I just said I shouldn't forget to show you. Okay, so these are crazy editions of The Lord of the Rings. So I have somewhere, I just set up these new shelves, and I don't really know where everything is. Okay, it's in my classics. Hold on. No, it's worth it. You guys, it's worth it. Bear with me. So, I've got this edition of The Lord of the Rings, and I don't like it. So, what I do respect about this edition is that J.R.R. Tolkien originally wanted all of the books to be published as one cohesive whole. This is what he dreamed of. But obviously the publisher was like, no one will buy a book that big. It's hard to sell, it's hard to package, it's hard to make, it's hard to read. Break it into 3 books. So he did that instead. So I like that I have this huge bind-up, but I don't have any interest in reading a book this huge. Like, it's just unpalatable, and I don't think it's very pretty either. I don't remember how I got it. Like, I think my dad loves Lord of the Rings a lot, and so I think he just has a lot of editions of it, and I just ended up with this one. But now I have acquired my own, and they are so weird. So I found these at a used bookstore in Salmon Arm, like I mentioned, and I saw them, and I was like, these are weird. These are really, really weird. And so I didn't buy them, and I thought about them the whole time I was camping, and on our way home, I was like, I need to go buy those. They were each only $10, and they're from 1995, and here's what they look like. So this is the Fellowship of the Ring. This is the Two Towers. They're crazy. And then this is the Return of the King. I don't know. They don't look very Lord of the Ringsy, but I just think they're so strange and mystical and bizarre, and I love them. They also, I double-checked. I checked 2 things. I checked, number 1, is it the revised edition? And it is. And number 2, does it have the appendix at the back? And it does. But as a bonus, they each have a map. I tell you, what a win. I feel like these posters alone would have been worth like $10, if not more. And yeah, so in each book, I got the book and like these beautiful posters. So I think I maybe want to hang one of these because they're just gorgeous. They're like the original maps. One of them is like a more zoomed in version of a larger map. I don't know. They're beautiful. Okay, now back to what I was talking about. I went to Book Expo America. I think I got more books than I remember, but I think I only got 3 or 4. So, the first one, and this is the one I'm most excited about, is Are You Listening by Tillie Walden. This is from First Second, and you know what? I just realized I have no idea what it's about. I just love me a graphic novel, and the illustration style of this looks absolutely beautiful. I know that Hannah from A Clockwork Reader has read it, and she loved it, so I'm super excited. The only thing I'm bummed about, and it's totally fair, like I get it, is just that the beginning of this book has the color in it, and the color is beautiful. Like the palette that they've gone with is so gorgeous, but it only lasts 12 pages, and then it's all black and white because this isn't a full edition. I just find that sad because it's so beautiful, and I would love to experience the story fully in color. So, I don't know. I might read some of it, and if I'm loving it, actually wait for it to fully come out so I can read it properly. It comes out in September, so I wouldn't even have to wait that long. We'll see. And the other book, I didn't get. Robbie, from Robbie Reads, got this book, and I think had so many books that he was like, I don't need this many books. Ariel, I think you might like this, and gave it to me. And it's called The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. Ruta Sepetys is one of the YA authors that I get recommended a lot. I think a lot of people, for some reason, think that I would like her writing, and I've never read anything by her. So now I've got this huge book about the Spanish Civil War? I forget what it was about. Something about Spain. Madrid, Spain, 1957, during the height of Franco's regime. So, I'll give it a shot. We'll see. It's huge, though, and that does intimidate me. This other book, I actually got a long time ago, but they were giving it out at Book Expo America, and I want to support this book, so I thought I'd slip it in here. It is The Year We Fell from Space by Amy Sarig King, who is also A.S. King, my favorite young adult author. So, this is a middle grade book that I'm currently reading and loving. It's beautiful. It's really interesting. I haven't finished it, so I can't tell you like if I love it or not, but I think I'm going to. And yeah, it's about a girl. Oh, right. I was like, I haven't been doing a good job talking about what these are about. It's because I haven't read them yet. It's about a girl whose parents have just gotten divorced and how she's processing that and going through that. And she loves drawing constellation maps and using those as a way of, like, understanding what she's going through. So, here I am, loving it. What else was I sent? I have been... Alright, so those are the books that I got at Book Expo. These are books that I was sent. So the first one that I'm really excited about, I'm so excited about, is An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green, the paperback. So this came out, obviously, last year in hardcover, and I was so excited about it. I went out and I bought it, I read it, and it became my favorite book of last year. I am so excited for the sequel. I think it's just a fantastic book, and I think that Hank Green was perfectly placed to write this novel. Which is maybe a strange thing to say, because obviously every author is the one that writes their novel. They're the one that thinks about it and, like, invent the idea. But the themes that he's talking about, like, internet fame and what fame does to you and community, etc., are just things that Hank Green knows so much about, and he wrote so perfectly. And I just absolutely loved it. So I was contacted by Penguin, and they were like, by Dutton, the imprint that published this, and they were like, hi, Ariel, we would like to send you the paperback version if you'd be interested. And I was like, totally, I love that book. And so they sent it to me, and I was like, cool, and they, like, had a tote bag in there. I was like, this is really nice. And then I was flipping through it just to see if it was any different than the hardcover one, and lo and behold, it is signed. And I freaked out. I had a little panic. I'll admit to that. It says, Ariel, thank you for all of your support and insights into book and publishing and readers. Keep making great stuff. Hank Green signed it, and I got a Hanklerfish. And I just really freaked out about that. It meant a lot to me. I was very excited. I think this is such a good book, and I think Hank is such a cool person. And I don't think I've actually ever met Hank Green, so if Hank, for whatever reason, you see this, I love your book. I can't wait for the sequel. But no pressure. Take your time. Okay, so then I was sent Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. So this is what made me very curious about this. This came in a really pretty package, and I was like, oh, intrigued, opened it, and it's beautiful, but it's about two people, one of whom is very famous, and the other who is not. And they start to fall in love, and it's about social media and fame, a theme I clearly am interested in, and so I looked more into the author and thought that I might like Emergency Contact too. So now I have both of her books. So, oh god, imagine if I read one and I don't really like it. I'll probably still give the other one a try. I think she has a very beautiful cover situation going on here. I like the pastels and the illustrations. But yeah, I'm very excited about this one. This one comes out in September too. Yeah. Alright. I was sent Teen Titans Raven by Cami Garcia by DC Comics. So that's, I love graphic novels. Thought I'd give it a shot. I don't, like, all of the graphic novels, I think that when people think about graphic novels, they think usually about, like, comics and supernatural stuff, and all of the graphic novels I read are, like, literary contemporary stories. So it'll be fun to actually read something that, like, has a superhero in it. And then finally, I have these two books from Faber. Faber and Faber is probably my favorite publishing house. I just think they're so cool. They publish such great stuff, and they have such beautiful covers. And I have a friend who works there whose name is Enriquez, and she always recommends me some of their books, and I always end up loving them. So she said, Ariel, I have these two books I really want to send you. I think you'll like them. And I was like, girl, send them over. I trust you. So the first one is Your House Will Pay by Steph Cha, which I love the packaging for this. This is an ARC. It doesn't come out till January 2020. So I don't know what the actual finished cover will look like, but I hope it's something like this. This is so pretty. And it's about the 1990s riots in LA, and it's about two families clashing together. I think it's going to be beautiful. I'm very excited. And then the other one, this one, I started reading like when I got it, and I'm very excited about it. It's called Devotion by Madeline Stevens, and the back, let me just read you this writing. She left a trail of bobby pins wherever she went. She was always losing something, but never frantic about it. What did it matter when you could just ask anyone for a swipe into the subway, or a slick of lip balm, or a tampon? Could it be that everyone had treated her that way her whole life? We all wanted to give her whatever we had. Are you not sucked in? Because I am. I sure am. So, again, I actually don't know anything about this. I just trust Faber and Faber a lot. I think this will be really cool. And this comes out in August, which is very soon. Yeah. All right, and that is my book haul. Gosh, please down below, let me know if you have read any of these books, if you have, if you liked it or not. If you haven't, which one, if you're excited about any of these also. But like I mentioned, this video is thankfully and gratefully sponsored by Skillshare. Let me tell you about them. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of different courses in loads of different topics, including creative things and like business things. Honestly, any topic you can think of, they probably have classes about. Premium membership gives you unlimited access to everything, and it's super affordable at only $10 a month. One cool course that they have right now that I am very interested in is Gail Forman leading a course in writing. So you may know I've reviewed Gail Forman's books in the past. I think that she's a really interesting writer. If I Stay, Just One Day, Where She Went. I haven't read her newer books, but I really loved a lot of her old books. And she has this course about how to write. And so if you want to check that out, you can for free using the link down in the description. You'll get 2 months for free as a free trial. So thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. It really helps support the channel. And thank you to all of you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm feeling very angry. The camera just cut off as I was talking about my incredible energy. And thank God I have enough energy to plow through that small technical error. I was just kind of saying that I have felt for the beginning of the year very... what even would be the adjective? Frazzled, confused, overwhelmed. Overwhelmed is going to be the one I'm going to go with. It was just a very turbulent time in my life, and I found it very difficult to juggle all of the things that I was trying to juggle. But even though we're more than halfway through the year, it kind of feels to me like the year is finally starting. Like I can finally commit to the things that I want to do. I want to make more videos. I want to write more. I want to share more things with you. And it finally feels like I have the energy and the burning passion within to do that. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you've enjoyed some of the recent videos I've posted because I was really excited by them, and I have a lot more stuff like that coming soon that I'm super excited to share with you. And that is all for now. I will see you very soon with another video. Bye! Okay, we must have it now.
Yes.
Now I have to be freed from this pile.